Diving headfirst into Coronado athletics. You're listening to the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score on the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back to the High School Fan Zone here on 100.7 The Score. I'm Clint Scott in for Randy Rosetta tonight, and we go into the Mustang Fan Zone, and we're going to talk some playoff baseball. We have head coach Brad Bibb here. Coach, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Good to see you, too. It's been a couple of weeks, so nice to be back.
Well, and it's a great time to catch up. We were joking at the break. I know you're not busy at all, so I'm glad that your schedule was wide open to come in tonight.
That's right.
You are diving into the first round of playoffs this week. Playing in Holiday, you will take on Abilene Wylie. I was like finding out Coach's perspective. I'm going to ask this to Coach Reynolds here in the Tiger Fan Zone in about 20 minutes as well. But you get to this week, playoffs here. Is there a different energy that you can feel from the player's perspective and from your perspective, or is it trying to treat everything like business as usual?
I think you have to find a balance of those two things. Everybody's excited. We had Coach Dudley come out and talk to the kids yesterday, and Coach Dudley was talking to them about how when he remembered it back in the day, you didn't have the internet, you didn't have all that stuff, so they would hand make a bracket and put it up on the board. And so that first Monday, everybody comes in and they want to see the bracket and see where everybody is. And it's a little different now because everybody knows. The kids know, and it's not kept under the the hat or anything. It's out there for everybody. And so it's a different feeling. It's Monday, the first week of the playoffs. There's a little different feeling in the air, and it's really fun to see the kids attack the week a little better. For us, it's we know this team. We've been in a district with this team. It's not like some other series that you might be in early where maybe it's not somebody you're as familiar with. We spent 4 years with these guys in the same district, so it's very, very familiar and very exciting at the same time.
It is, and it's funny that you say that because you look at schools that might be playing like an El Paso school that you maybe saw in a tournament or a classic maybe once, like in a passing glance, but at the same time it's like, boy, you really don't know anything about them. But then with you guys, it's like, oh, there's quite a bit of familiarity.
Yeah, it's very different, and I kind of like it because it doesn't take much to get the kids focused and get them under wraps. They're excited to get after Wylie for sure.
Do you guys try to look for, as a staff, maybe the players that you might think maybe are taking on too much for the week or trying to put too much on their shoulders, or do you look for anything for that?
Yeah, I think there's a balance of trying to be prepared and make sure that you've got all your ducks in a row as far as what you want to do, and then also spend a little time talking about the other team and all that. But you don't want to overload your own kids.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to make it totally different than normal. You want to try to stay in as much of a routine as you can. It's a little bit different week. You're not playing in the middle of the week, so you got a little more time to work out and maybe slow down a little bit and drill some of the stuff that you might gloss over during the season. But we try to balance between staying as routine as we can and then, spending a little time talking about what they do.
Just to make it to the playoffs, especially in your guys' district, which obviously you're having district changes coming, but still your district for baseball has always been, to me, just a bag of knives to go through. So you have to have a consistent level of success to even make the playoff field. How much can you lean on from that consistency in district play going into the playoffs?
That bag of knives analogy is true, and it feels like it's been that way for a long time. You have to try to grind through our district with just the number of games and top to bottom, there's never an easy series. You've always got to be ready to go. And we've been really fortunate from the standpoint of we've been able to find a way to win at least one game in every one of these series in 2 years in a row. And that's really, I think, gotten us in this position both years, is we've avoided the losing streak and we've avoided, having a really bad spell. And so I think that speaks to how we handle it during the week and how we handle the way we practice. And I think a lot of the credit for that goes to the kids. The kids are busy. They're going to class and they're doing other stuff, and they still find a way to come out and show up and work out and be successful. And so I think a lot of credit goes to them.
You just noted a really impressive stat to me that I wanted to ask you about. You said over the past couple of years you have not been swept, and you were the only team to beat both Amarillo and Lubbock Cooper, your district winners there.
Yeah.
When you look at that, when you do like this year when you had dropped a game, was there any conversation like, oh, we just got to get one, we got to get that one back? Did you guys say it in that way, or was it, hey, we just got to keep bouncing back in general?
Yeah, I think last year there was a little tinge of that, trying to get that. But this year with the returners we've got and the leadership we've got and the maturity we've got, I didn't have to say it. They knew. They knew. I can't even remember. It's been so crazy, just the run of games we've had. But in the events where we did lose the first one, everybody knew. They were like, we just got to come back and find a way to win the next one. And we were able to do that, especially against Cooper, I think. They beat us the first time, and then we're able to flush it and come back. And wins like that are the ones that get you in. And so I'm really proud of our kids for being able to handle that.
Well, 3-game winning streak going into the playoffs. We're going to talk about that next. It is the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Your inside look into Coronado sports. This is the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Hey, it's the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm in my Coronado red right now.
You are.
For Coronado.
You are. Well done.
Perfect. Yeah. I think I've actually worn red back-to-back. So I'm doing good here for you guys. It is the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score, talking some playoff baseball with head coach Brad Bibb. Abilene Wylie, you'll play this in Holiday. Obviously, some weather has messed with other people's schedules. That's just kind of West Texas outdoor sports in general. But when you get here, do you how much do you check the weather?
This week, every 5 or 10 minutes. It's been, you can make yourself go crazy thinking about it. Ever since last weekend, just trying to figure out what to do and where to play and all that stuff. And so I've been watching it pretty close. It looks like, hopefully I'm going to knock on the table, that it's going to hold off enough for us to be good. So we're going to hope for that.
I like that wording, driving yourself crazy, because I can totally see it. I absolutely would. Playoff format obviously is going to change just from, if you guys do play a game 3 or whatever, obviously that can throw some wrinkles into some people's lineups, and I know some are not built for it, some are. Yeah. Does that change much for you guys other than just the type of schedule that you're playing?
There's a lot of different ways to do it. And I've been around here a long time, as an assistant and then in charge, and so I've seen pretty much every scenario, honestly, that you can get to in a 3-game series. We've been on every single end of it that you can possibly be. I think the key is to make sure that you are trying to win the first 2, but still set yourself up to not be completely gutted by game 3. You still got to have an arm. You still got to be, able to win that game. And a lot of it depends on what you do in game 1. The mentality is different a little bit depending on what you do in game 1. And so we've got a plan, and I feel good about our plan, and we're ready to go get after Wylie.
So let's talk about the last week and a half. You're on a 3-game winning streak. Obviously, you won a lot of games, 11 in district play, finished 3rd there. But what you've seen over the last few games heading into the postseason, what have you liked about your guys' performances?
Our resilience has been really key. We haven't played great leading up to these last 3 or so, and even the one where we beat Lubbock High to clinch a spot, we didn't play great. But we have competed and we've grinded and we've been resilient, and that's been something we've tried to preach for years, and in the last couple of years I feel like it's really taken hold. We don't give up. We can be struggling, and guys are trying to pick each other up, and guys are trying to stay positive, and I think we've seen the results of that. And then I felt like we played a lot better last week against Tascosa. We were able to kind of mix and match a little bit and get some guys ready to go on the mound and play everybody a little bit, and so I felt really good about that. And so we're in a good place headed into this week.
Well, resilient is dead on, because in your 16 district games, 12 of them decided by 2 runs or less. You guys went 9-3.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Shout out to Randy.
Stat of the day.
I would love to be the statistician. Well, that's really impressive, and that's got to be something that you guys can lean on.
Absolutely.
In the postseason, obviously you know this. Yeah. You got to expect that you're going to be in at least a tight game from here on out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had paid attention to that last year, I think, and this year I've had my mind in other places apparently. But we've tried to instill that mentality and be tough in close games and give ourselves a chance to win. And so I think we've got the staff to do it on the mound, and those numbers back it up.
Scratch that. I had that stat.
Oh, good.
Randy.
Okay.
I had that.
We'll
stat.
give you credit for it.
Brendan, scratch that other part from the recording. Just get rid of it. You talk about the arms. I've always thought, obviously you would love to have a great offense. You would love to have great defense and great pitching. Love to be great all the way around. But if you could just pick pitching or offense when it comes to the playoffs, you'd always pick arms.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about your pitching, what you're looking out of them in the playoffs.
You want to have guys on the hill that can do it. We're pretty left-hand dominant, which is a little bit different. We've got more lefties than we've had in the past, and so
crafty Coronado.
Crafty. I mean, I think that bodes well for us this week. Grayson Dunnigan, Matt Garcia will be our first two guys on the hill, both left-handed. Jackson Vasquez is our closer. He's left-handed, and then we'll have Cooper Shields that we can run out there either in relief, or he'll probably be our Game 3 starter if we get to that point, And so we're gonna lean on those four guys and see what we can do.
What do you see out of Abilene Wylie this year?
They're talented like they always are. We've talked a lot this week about it. They've had a really good run here the last 5 years. They've been to the third round every year and been to the fourth round 4 times. So they know how to win, and they expect to win, and we really want to try to break that streak. We feel like they're beatable. We feel like they're really talented and got a lot of really good players, but they're beatable if we'll play. And so I'm really excited to see us get after it.
And a lot of coaches, a lot of players, just a lot of things in sports like when they can taking on like the underdog role. Do you guys like doing that? Are you trying to, or is it, hey, let's just go beat them?
We embrace it. We kind of use it as fuel. You know, I don't think there's a lot of people outside of our locker room and our homes that think we've got a shot. They see the name Abilene Wylie and they think they're, destined to win. And so we're going to embrace that underdog mentality. It's worked for us before. And we're going to try to keep doing that as long as we can keep playing.
Playing on Friday and Saturday again. This series will be played in Holiday. We were talking before we went on, and you're from the area, but this is a kind of a new spot as far as the field and the facilities go. What's what's the thought process when you're going to a new place like that?
Yeah, I think we want to get there early and see it. I've shown it to the kids and all that, and I've talked to people, but even I haven't seen it. And so I think we want to get there early and try to get our feet. Maybe not wet is the right term this week, but maybe just get our boots on the ground and try to take a look at it, and then just do what we do. You play in a lot of different places, and our kids play in a lot of different places. As much as they play during the summer and all that stuff, they're used to playing in places that they're not super familiar with, and so I don't think that's going to be a huge deal for us.
I would think that as much as you can pull on stuff from district, when you get to like stuff like this, you can pull from tournaments and classics and stuff that you played with. Here's the music going out, so I'll just end with this. Is there any message to the fans now that the playoffs are here?
Just come support us and be excited, and let's try to ride this thing as long as we can. We've got a really good group, and I'm excited to see them go play.
We're excited to watch what you guys do, Coach.
Thanks.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. This has been the Mustang Fan Zone. We'll go to Friendship next here on The Score. This is the High School Fan Zone.